What's up, everybody? Per usual, I will start this off talking about a nonprofit organization called the HBCU VC. As we know, I think, as I've learned through my kind of experience going through the VC world and understanding this space, what I have quickly learned is that people of color are not represented in the VC space. And that's for a variety of reasons, whether it's lack of opportunity or just not knowing. And so I wanted to speak about an amazing organization that is focusing on changing that and correcting that flaw. So their mission is to direct funds and help HBCU students learn about the VC world, as well as give them an opportunity to provide them with an opportunity to be owners, create innovation, and having the money to back some of their thoughts, which I think is important. As we know, money kind of makes the world go around, and so sometimes you need an opportunity. So they do an amazing job to providing opportunities for people of color who have ideas, who have innovations that they want to get out in the world, and give them the opportunity to do so. I think that is very important, especially right now. They're a nonprofit organization, so if you're interested in helping, you can go learn more or visit HBCU VC or hbcu.vc. And I am a supporter, and it's something I'm looking to partnering with, and I think it'd be great for everybody to take a look at and help change this flaw in the system. So, your questions.
How did you get connected with that?
Actually, when I started doing work with the HBCU Foundation, I came across them, and then I was able to meet with them, have a conversation with them, understand everything that they were doing, and it was aligned with some of the stuff that I was trying to do, and it seemed like a perfect fit for me to get involved.
Pete seemed to suggest that some of the stuff that you guys are giving up in games is stuff that you guys have practiced, even saw against the Vikings. Why do you think the issues are reoccurring with the coverage for you guys?
As I said before, this is a copycat league, and so when you put something on tape and when you have something attack you, teams will mimic that, whether it's the exact same play or they do it in a different formation, a different look, different personnel, and they try to do it. And so it's on us as players to get that corrected. Like I said, there's been stuff that we've done over the years that have shown up on tape, and it took us a second to correct it, but once it was corrected, we stopped seeing that show up in games because we fixed the problem. But until we fix the problem, then I don't see it leaving. Like I said, any team that watches the film and sees those plays, if they don't have those plays in, I would be surprised if they didn't put them in. And so it's on the players to practice and execute, especially on the games, and we just have to play better, and we have to recognize it better.
I guess as a veteran leader out there, what do you need to see from your team in practice to know that you're making those fixes to win?
A lot of it is just, personally, a lot of it is just confidence in the game. I think sometimes you can run out and practice those plays and execute them right in the games, and maybe you don't have the confidence, or they change it and it's not exactly how you ran it in practice. And so I think it's just confidence and just believing that you can make the play, and understanding that this is the NFL, we're professionals, so we have a job to do and we have to get it done.
Have you had a chance, Bobby, to talk to Trey Flowers, and what can you share some of that?
I have not had a chance to talk to Trey Flowers. I found out late last night what happened, but I think sometimes it's good for people to have a fresh start, and maybe that was the opportunity he was looking for.
What's it like practicing without Russell out there, and this kind of preparing for a week without him and all that, obviously something you've never done before.
Yeah, it's definitely foreign territory for sure. You never gone out to a practice and not saw three warming up or doing his extra stuff. So um, we understand the task at hand. We understand that there's a lot of people that are counting us out, a lot of people that believe that we can't do it. And, we've proved people wrong in the past before, and I don't see why the future doesn't turn out the exact same way.
He was just talking about Geno and his personality and his experience being the sort that guys will rally around. You sense that this week, and what is it about Geno that, his leadership and the qualities that he brings?
I just think the way Geno handles himself, the way Geno prepares. If you walk into a room or you walk into the building and you're just a fly on the wall, you wouldn't think that Geno is not a starter just by the way that he prepares. And so I think that's why it's so easy for us to rally behind him, because we know that he's done the work. We know that he's prepared. He's right there with Russell learning and doing all the things that he needs to do to be a great quarterback. And so here's his opportunity to do that. And everybody is extremely confident in what he can do. And, he has our back for sure, and we have his.
You've seen Ben Roethlisberger over the years. How are he and the offense different maybe than a couple years ago or 4 years ago, whenever that?
I think obviously he's less mobile because of, he's getting older and stuff like that, but he still makes great decisions. He still, for the most part, I think he gets the ball out of his hands very fast. He does a good job of looking the receivers or looking the linebackers off, moving them with his eyes and finding the target. And so a lot of our job is just making that pocket uncomfortable. I think the game changes when he gets uncomfortable or when, they got guys in his face, just like any quarterback. And so, our job is to make sure he's not just sitting back there and, trying to pick us apart, because, he's a great quarterback, and he's shown over the years that he's done that, and he's capable of doing that if you give him the opportunity. And so we just can't give him the opportunity.
This offensive line has a ton of new pieces. They basically overhauled the entire group and finally got their run game going quite a bit last week. What have you seen as far as what kind of offensive attack they're going to bring from that perspective?
On film, I like them. They play really well together. I know they're new and they're trying to figure it out, but even from their double teams to some of their single blocks, they're figuring out they work really good together. And I think that's what's kind of helped that run game. The last game is just as they progressed in the season and got better at some of the pass off blocks. I think that's what shows. So they're a great O line, and they have a really fun back there. And so we just have to make sure that we come downhill and we don't give them time to work out all the blocking schemes that they're trying to do.
Running back Harris, what does he bring? Like, what kind of challenge is he?
He's definitely a challenge. He's fun to watch on film, definitely. I like his footwork. He reads the hose when he see it, he hits it. I think he stiff stormed somebody out of bounds in the open game. And so he's definitely somebody you have to get a body on, somebody you have to be conscious of. And he's also really, really active in the passing game. They like to get him out. He rarely stays in when there's a pass. And so he's somebody who can do it all, somebody we have to account for. And it'll be a good challenge for us.
What's your assessment of why the defense isn't performing how you guys would have thought it would be, through 5 weeks?
That's a tough question to pinpoint one thing, but I would say if I had to pinpoint one thing, it's, early on we got in our way a lot, whether it's penalties, whether it's, mistakes, miscommunications. And so I think that's probably the biggest thing, is just if we can fix those things, we have the talent, we have the people to be a great defense. And so, it's on myself to make sure the communication is better, and it's on us as players to make sure we go out there and execute the game plan and give ourselves a chance.
I mean, how alike and how different is this year's defense from a year ago at this time when you guys were struggling?
I think it's a little different because there's, I think we were still trying to figure out certain things. We had different pieces. We had different guys. last year than we do this year, and so a lot of it is just figuring out we're using people different ways, and so I think it's more so just the communication. Last year, we had guys like a KJ, and we had like more spots that are solidified, but this year it's more guys playing different roles, and we just have to focus and master the roles that is being asked of us to do.
What do you see on Darrell Taylor so far through 5 games?
The pass rush. You always watch him at practice, and you watch him, working on moves and working on different things that, because we're not going like extremely hard, and we can't, you're not going to finish your own lineman at practice. But you see it. You see it at practice. You see the speed off the ball. You see the power moves. You see all of that. And so when you see it in the game, like finally finished, him able to finish the sacks or finish the tackles or put somebody on their back, it's fun to watch. And he definitely has the traits and to be a very special player in this league.
Bobby, I'm wondering, as a veteran who's been around for a while, did you see the comments John Gruden made, and sort of do you think that's at all prevalent throughout the league of the things that he said being more than just what he said, I guess?
I think that's that whole situation is a lot deeper than I think we can figure out during this press conference. But what I will say is I think there are people out there like that speak that way, that have that mindset, that have not grown. It's not just football. It's not just NFL ownership or coaches or anything like that. There are more people that's like that. And whether it's naive, whether it's a lack of education, whatever the excuse or whatever the idea behind it may be, there are people out there like that. And so if you're talking to me, like for me to, it's not something that shocks me anymore, because you get it in so many different fields. It's not just football. It's not just one field, for sure. It's something that I feel people deal with regardless of how you look or what you believe in. It's something that happens all the time. The only thing that is different is this thing. This is the only thing that's different. You got cell phones to capture moments. Now your emails sit there a little longer than they normally do. And so things that used to be in the dark that would never be found out about is being saved on the cloud or wherever it's at. And so, it pops back up at some point. And so, I think it just, we have a long way to go. And like I said, it's like that situation is not anything bigger than what the world is dealing with and what, the world should be focusing on and trying to figure out. There's a lot of things that we could figure out that are a lot deeper than just this conversation. You know what I mean? So I think that's why I like the Dave Chappelle Netflix special so much, is because it forces you to have an opinion. And, a lot of people going to feel some type of way about it. But that's why I like Dave Chappelle, because he makes you have an opinion. You can't just be in the middle. Like, you got to have an opinion. And so, I know I already said something earlier, but if you guys haven't saw it, y'all should look at it. Just take a look at it, have an open mind, and start a conversation, because there's a lot of conversation that will come from that special, for sure.
Defensively, if I have this right, the bare fronts, like the 3-4 switch you guys basically made, if I'm understanding right, that should help out in the run game, in theory, having all the gaps covered and stuff. If that's the case, why do you think the run defense hasn't been as good as it was even last year?
Because it's in theory, you know what I mean? It's, a lot of stuff is on paper, but, we have some extremely smart offensive coordinators in this league. And so on paper, you have gaps. All the gaps should be checked out, but you add a motion, you add a puller, you bump a 3 technique out of his gap, cut off a mic, there's a lot of different things. It's no different than any other defense that you run, whether you run an over front or under front or whatever the case may be. There is a weakness or soft spot in the defense, and our job is to make sure that they don't find it, and their job is to make sure they find it. And so, I think we just have to execute better. I think we have to help one another out, play off each other a little bit better. So I wouldn't say just it's that solely that front as the reason why, but it's similar to like our defense. Like when when Cam, Shern, Earl, we all play cover 3, and that's all we did was play cover 3. Nothing else. Like we would line up and basically just say we're better than you, and we don't care what you do. And then they start putting 4 strong, and we don't have enough people in 4 strong, so you had to adjust. And so you don't see as many, like you see different versions of our defense out there where it's cover 3, but now there is more cover 4 element, more cover 2 element because they figured out the weak spot in the cover 3 defense. So you can't just sit there and be like, we're better than you and play cover 3 all day anymore because, it took some time, but they found some beaters in that coverage. And so it's a cycle, you know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of teams are running cover 4 right now, and then give it a couple years, I feel like it might be a cover 2 league, and then give it a couple years of cover 3. I mean, it's all about cycles. And so, depending on which cycle you're in.
One more thing. I know you said you couldn't pinpoint one part of the defense easily, at least. Pete did. One of them was like he basically said underneath coverage has kind of been an issue with eye discipline, having the discipline to make the defense throw it in front of you and just go rally the checkdowns, essentially has been like an issue specifically against the Rams there. Would you agree with his assessment there?
I think there's a lot more than just the underneath coverage. I think it's the whole thing. I think what the Rams were doing such a good job of is they took their routes deeper. So a route that was maybe you thought was going to be 12 yards, they took it about 23. So, they just pushed everything back. And so everybody works together, whether it's pass rush, whether it's coverage, we all got to work together. Obviously the quarterback can't have that much time to throw the ball, to give the receiver the chance to run down there, but we also can't alleviate where we're at. And so we all work together. Everybody's trying to figure out what's going wrong. And so the moment we start winning and the moment we start executing, then everybody start writing about how great we are. So it's a thing. If you fix, I promise you, we come out and we play well and we, on a line of scrimmage and we get a couple picks and all these different things, I'm pretty sure the conversation will be like, oh, the problem's fixed after one game. So, I think that's just me playing 10 years. Everybody's looking for something to write. And so we, unfortunately, have given y'all something to write about, and we'll switch the narrative for sure. I'm confident in that.
You mentioned confidence earlier, players have it. Do you think that's an issue with the defense right now at all? Or?
No. We have enough confidence to spread that around for sure.
With Wilson out for the first time, how much was a personal challenge for you and your defense to carry this team through this?
I think it's a tremendous opportunity, for us to, step up. I think it's needed. Obviously with Russell being down, a lot of it is going to fall on Geno to run that offense and do the things that we're accustomed to seeing. But, we got to play better, and we have to, accept this challenge of, getting out of this hole and getting out of whatever we dug ourselves into, which I feel like we have the people, we have the confidence, we have the players to execute, and we have the players to get this right. And so, this is our time, our turn to step up as a defense, and we will. And it's going to be a personal challenge for me to make sure that happens.
Thank you, Bobby.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.